Hello there, everyone. Okay, so today we are going to work on reason number 2. So we've already done the introduction and we have already done our first body paragraph at this point. Okay, now we're working on our second body paragraph. So the things that you need to have out are, you need to brainstorm, okay, because that's going to have all of our evidence. You need to open up the slides for reason 2, and then you need to go ahead and open up the document that actually has where you're going to be writing. Okay, so if I look here, this is the breakdown of my paragraph. It's the exact same as my last paragraph. Okay, so you're basically doing the same thing, except you're doing it with different evidence. So same as last time, injustice against Indigenous people is based on bias because, injustice against Indigenous people is based on blank because blank. So just like last time, I'm going to go ahead and copy that. Oh wait, I'm going to split screen my thing so I can see both at the same time because that's studious. Okay. So then here, let's go ahead and paste that. Injustice against Indigenous people is based on blank because blank. So this you should be taking straight from your brainstorm. So for our last paragraph, we did this reason. Okay? For this paragraph, we're doing our second reason. So the claim should still be the same. If you said bias in your introduction and you said bias in your last paragraph, you should have bias again today for this one. If you've been arguing financial gain, you're still arguing the same thing. So go ahead and put bias or financial gain, whatever it is for you. And then for the because, again, is going to be the second reason that you talked about in your thesis statement. So I want you to go ahead and pause the video and do that now. Okay. So now that we have our claim, so injustice against Indigenous people is based. Actually, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to spice mine up a little bit, and I'm going to say injustice against Indigenous people is based on is also. I'm going to put also based on bias because blah 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 blah. Okay. Next is I'm citing my textual evidence, so I can go ahead and copy my quote and paste it in here. According to paragraph blank in source blank, it states blank. So again, this I should be getting from my T-charts. Okay, this is where I have the quote written out because here I have it in my own words. Like on the T-chart and on my brainstorm, I have it in my own words. I should be looking at my evidence tracker because that's where I wrote it down word for word from the prompt or from the source. Okay, so according to paragraph blank, it's in source blank, it states blank. So I want you to pause, find the evidence that you're talking about, and go ahead and type it in there right now. Okay. Now that and reminder, this quote, whatever evidence you have here, should be showing this. Oh my God. Should be showing this. So if I'm saying that it's because of financial gain, if I said injustice against Indigenous people is also based on financial gain because the U.S. government took their land, this evidence should be showing that the U.S. government took their land. Okay? Whatever your reason is, that's what your evidence should be showing. So then the next thing that I do after, so go ahead and do that now. What I do after I put my evidence is now I need to clarify my reasoning. How did I get here? So go ahead and paste. This quotation shows that blank. So remember, we're looking for this quotation. I want you to tell me what was unjust about the event that happened. So what was the unfair thing that happened? So if I'm talking about Indigenous people being forced off their land for white settlers, I can say that Native Americans were forced to leave their land. That's unfair. They didn't choose to do it. They were made to do it. And then how does this show financial gain or bias? So if I'm arguing financial gain, I need to prove why like how that was making someone money. Like walk me through your step by step by step by step. How did you get there? Because if you're just saying, oh, this shows that people were removed from their land. Okay, so, but how does that show financial gain though? You need to explain that. Okay, I promise you cannot over-explain it right now. Just go hard. I need you to explain how you got from point A to point B. Okay? So you're going to pause. Take a second to do that now. Okay, the next part. Our second source on paragraph blank, it states blank. So a reminder that this quote should be showing, again, the same thing. So if I'm talking about the U.S. government forcing Native people off their land, I need another quote that proves that that happened. Okay? So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to copy it or find it in my evidence tracker and then write it down there. So go ahead and pause to do that now. Once I have my second piece of evidence, again, I need to explain my reasoning, clarify it. How did you get there? What does that show? How does that show financial gain or bias, depending on what you're arguing? Okay, so a reminder, the blue should be longer than the green. And the blue, or clarify, needs to always bring it back to financial gain or to bias. How does this thing show financial gain? How does this unfair thing show bias? If you're just showing me, if you're just writing, and this was unfair, or this is the unfair thing that happened, okay, that's great. It's a good start, but you always, 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 always need to bring it back to your original claim. And your original claim is either that the injustice happens because of bias or that the injustice mostly happened because of financial gain. Okay? So I want you to take a second, go ahead and fill that part in now. Okay, so the last part, we did everything. So we're just going to double check to make sure that I have everything I need. I have my claim in red, cool. I have my first cite in green, my first clarify in blue, second cite, second clarify, cool. Everything looks good. I'm going to take a second to make sure that I spell check everything. Everything looks good. Okay, cool. And I've made sure that my blue is longer than my green. My clarifying is longer than my quoting. Okay? And then once you're done with that, that's it. You can go ahead and submit. Go ahead and turn it in. Turn it in. Yay! And that's all.